Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max.
Welcome, everyone. We are the Geek Patrol, and we are without adult supervision this week. We are coming to you from outside the recovery wing where someone spiked Joe's virgin eggnog with Klingon blood wine. And I'm not actually going to say who it is, but it might be our special guest today. I am Brandon Olmstead, sitting in for Joe Thorderson, here with my buddies Alan Gilbreth and our friend Max behind the glass, and our special guest, Scott J. Carroll. If you are a fan of the shows, you have heard him before, and if you are a fan of Geeky Side TV, you've seen him and have probably cussed his existence. How you doing today, Scott?
I'm also cursing my existence.
Oh, guys, we don't have a huge show for you. We're going to kind of let it go with the flow, which is why Joe is probably never going to let us do this again.
Hey, we have a special guest, not a huge show.
It's chilled, it's groovy, it's the holidays. We got this.
We love Scott, but he's so talented. If we don't act like he's not important, he might get a big ego.
Wait,
no. I've seen who's in charge of his life. I've seen who's in charge of his life.
Well,
that would be my little dog.
That would be 4 pounds of attitude.
Oh man, but come on,
seriously.
There's nothing better than having a life that is run by your fur kids, man.
My dog, Zoe, is a little 20-pound terrier mix who is actually a 90-year-old Jewish woman.
See, I, on the other hand, have a 6-year-old, pit mix who is the cat of a 14-year-old teenager who can't get away from Instagram.
Nobody else wants to
pure
jump into
boost.
this.
I knowing both of your animals, I can only sit here and nod and go, yeah.
And the truth is, Alan will never admit it, but his life is run by animals too, but it's usually cooking them.
Well, with the one exception, because my dog is known as management.
Oh.
Because anytime Alan comes to the house, when she sees his truck, there's a bark. It's called the Allen bark, and if he does not come inside and pet her, it is the end of all things.
It is.
There will be a good barking to
If
later.
that is not a sign of the end times, I haven't seen one.
Well, Scott and I were coming back from a show, and of course she sees the truck pull up.
Right.
And you get the truck bark. Then she sees Scott get out of the truck, and it changes to the daddy bark, which are two distinctly different barks.
Right.
One is, I see the truck, I see the truck, I see the truck. Look, it's daddy, it's daddy, it's daddy. And then I walked around the end of the truck, and a third very distinctive bark began.
It's
Alan. It's Alan. It's Alan. I actually have a 2-part
There's a
bark.
pitch difference between the barks.
Damn, it's Uncle Alan.
And it's like, we're getting pets.
Yeah.
He's coming in. You have to pay the pet tax.
Oh, absolutely.
And the reason this fits into Geek Tank is it's fur baby adoration season.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Because, man, all I got to say, and I know we normally don't bring up brand names and stuff, but, man, Chewy's got to be they got to be printing their own money right now.
And the thing is if they ever want to sponsor the show, I use their products.
Come on, guys.
I'm on board.
In.
And not just their customer service is beyond reproach.
Oh, they got it going
amazing.
on. Yeah. They got it going on.
I get George's allergy meds through Chewy, and we had an issue where the shipment got lost. I'm not going to say which delivery service it is, but where it's located, I kind of expect it. I do live in Memphis. Anyway, as soon as I told them, it's like, hey, it says this was delivered. It was not delivered to me. I've checked, my neighbors. None of them got it. What's going on? They said, don't worry about it. If it shows up, just donate it to, the Humane Society or someone along those lines. We will get you out another shipment ASAP. And it was there the next afternoon. Not the original shipment, but the new shipment. It was just, they are awesome.
What geeky thing are you doing for your fur kids?
Oh, right now I'm feeding him discarded wrapping paper. He is decorating the house with any little scraps that we are done. Because, we just did our big, wrap. We've got all of our Christmas shopping done. We are prepared. We are there. And George he decorated the house with a little bit of wrapping paper here, a little bit of ribbon there. And if we touch it, he gets a little offended.
He gets a little miffed.
That's where it belongs.
Oh, yeah. It's like,
yeah, okay.
It's like we
what
don't
about
know.
your-
I mean, we're just the humans. We just live here. It's like we don't know anything.
That's true. What about your fur baby?
Zoe
Or
has,
I should say management.
yeah, Zoe has her own stocking over
No,
the
of course she does.
over the chimney. Over the chimney, over the fireplace.
Oh, that's right. You can actually see it in the
Yeah,
new
in
show, the Advent.
The tea
season.
video, the
Yeah.
tea challenge we're doing right now.
Oh,
Oh, you haven't seen this yet, Brandon?
oh, dude, I am so overcompensating for lack of content. I have watched 11 seasons of Letterkenny in the past week.
That's
Wow.
fair. That's entirely fair.
Yeah.
What, no giant naked people eating things?
I'm not a Titan guy, but
Oh, there
I
you go.
appreciate those who are.
Yeah, there you go. So, all right, what do we got?
Oh well, I mean,
it's geeky. It's Christmas. It's
you know,
holidays. It's food. It's
well,
gifts. And I
I-
gotta tell you, I have gotten the cutest freaking poppet I have ever gotten in my life. And Scott, you got to get the whole joke. Because Max over here said something about what supervillain he would have been.
Mm-hmm.
And I just looked at it and I said, well, what does that do? Make me Loki? And I unwrapped the little package, and guess what?
yep.
It's a little 1 inch tall.
I am Loki. It is just the most adorable freaking thing.
So Funko brought out earlier this year. Funko did itty bitty pops,
Mm-hmm.
And you could swallow this. It's the
Oh,
size
yeah.
of a pill.
and they are they're it's like a little I guess a 0.5 scale or 0.1015 scale pop. It's maybe about the size of a quarter.
Yeah, they're seriously, you could swallow. I could probably swallow the whole box and the pop.
I think the
you know.
important
Well,
thing is
that says more about the size of your mouth than
Yeah,
anything
well,
else.
yeah, there's a reason I have a cooking show.
the box is hard plastic too.
Yeah.
Which is I think the important part
which is
there.
just adorable. Oh my God, this is so
It's
great.
it's like the closest thing you'll get with pops to mini brands. Yeah.
Yep.
Which if you have any young people in your life, you know the addiction that is mini brands.
Well, I'm going to ply you with an inebriating substance later. So
Hey, bonus.
Can I have some?
yes. What do you mean you have some? You're in on designing this stuff.
But yeah, we're going to hit on a few things. Scott's going to bring us non-live coverage from the gaming awards. We're going to talk about how IGN has shown us that Mother is the #1 viewed movie of the year, and we'll get into even more stuff when we come back on Geek Tank Radio.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. I'd like to see artificial intelligence replace this. The Geek Patrol is back.
Well, I mean, it can't, because artificial intelligence will never be this dumb. Let's be honest.
Yeah, there's a whole intelligence.
The word that came to mind was weird.
Oh, no. Have you seen AI art? It's got like 12 fingers.
Yeah.
It's-
so,
it, you know-
what's your point?
Yeah, that's pretty weird, man. I'm sorry.
If
I'm
12
talking about on one hand.
If 12 fingers is the height of your weirdness bar, there's a whole
Oh,
lot
no.
more to go.
Everything else that has been weird about AI art cannot be blamed on the AI art. It is the fault of the prompter.
Yes.
yeah.
Remember, AI doesn't do anything on its own. Somebody has to instigate.
That's true. and Max would totally be the instigator for an AI geek tank.
I mean, you guys wouldn't be here. I'd have a pretty easy job.
Oh, well, I wouldn't say that. AI will eventually revolt. Anyways, guys, welcome back to Geek Tank Radio. I am Brandon Olmstead here with Alan Gilbreth, our buddy Max behind the edge, and our special guest, Scott J. Carroll. I can speak English. I really can.
Clairol?
Clairol. Anyway.
New teeth.
And I'm going to...
Clarence?
And I teased it before we went to break. Scott, you are the only one here who paid any attention to the gaming awards. And,
I am.
and you have a
shockingly.
beef.
I do.
You have a
I
beef,
do have a
apparently.
beef. So, Gaming Awards happened.
Right.
This year, it was weird watching them because the Game Awards are kind of starting to almost be a parody of themselves. But
Well, as games have.
a lot of great games came out this year. And the game of the year that won was Baldur's Gate 3,
Okay.
which I disagree with because I feel like it definitely should have been Alan Wake 2.
Okay. And we know that Alan Wake 2 has been in...
It's been in development for more than 10
development
years.
for over a decade at this point.
Sam Lake and the entire creative team over at Remedy have been pouring so much into this, and they've been teasing this for multiple years throughout their other games like Control, Quantum Break, these other games that came out. And Alan Wake 2, playing this game is an experience. Not just because of the dual narratives that are going on, the fact that you can hop back and forth between either one that you like to.
Right.
What they've done with gameplay, with color, with sound design. Not to mention, there is an entire 15 to 20 minute segment that is a musical that you're playing through where the characters are all singing while you're fighting the bad guys.
Okay, you don't have to do beat type.
No, it's not like
okay.
Although
Then I can play this. I have no rhythm. I am the epitome of white boy.
But speaking of rhythm games, Hi-Fi Rush also I feel got a little snubbed at the awards. Hi-Fi Rush is a rhythm game by Mikami Studio, Tango Gameworks.
Yeah,
and incredible game, really light, really fun, good story, compelling rhythm gameplay. It did win for best sound design, I believe it was. I actually have the list right here. No, Hi-Fi Rush won for best audio design.
Okay.
And really fun game. I really recommend everybody plays that. But Alan Wake 2, for me, and it's not just because I've been a fan of the series or been a fan of Remedy. I have been waiting for this game to come out for 13 years. And it feels like it was worth the wait.
And the fact that it, after all this, living up to your expectations, because the hype has been building all this time, you're like, all right, this was amazing. And then they go, Baldur's Gate 3, and you go, who paid for this?
Yeah. Now, Alan Wake 2, it did win for best art direction and best game direction.
Right.
Which fully justified that those should win. It's kind of like the equivalent of best director and best cinematography, if you were going to compare it to the Oscars. But best picture really should have gone to that.
Right.
I have nothing against Baldur's Gate or the series, but just as a game and gameplay and narrative and story.
Yeah.
As a writer, it didn't hold up to the stuff for Alan Wake.
Okay.
Because Alan Wake, the character himself, he is not a good writer. Let's be honest. He's not a good writer. No. But how the game plays with how story structure works, how it is built, and how everything can be twisted to be not what it seems, but is, but isn't, is great. And I never at any point while playing through that or watching through that went, well, this is dumb. All of it felt natural.
Okay. Now, you were saying earlier that the Gaming Awards have, you may have mentioned this off the air, but you said the Gaming Awards have become a parody of themselves. Mm-hmm. All right, so give me some layout for that, because I remember the Gaming Awards always used to be, we're the fun awards, and it's just...
And it feels like they're trying too hard with the fun.
Oh, they're the Golden Globes.
They're between... It has become and it should be a commercial for here's all the games that are coming out.
Right.
Here's all the cool stuff that's going to happen. Here's the innovations that we're doing in gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
When Kojima walks on stage, you're paying attention because he's about to announce some brand new mind-blowing thing that's going to happen.
Because he doesn't do mini games.
When Kojima walks out and pulls out Jordan Peele and says, "We've been working on a game," your brain goes, "What? I need it right now." But
Why are you coming out before it's done?
But the Muppets showed up.
Yeah.
And of the Muppets, Gonzo showed up, which is a weird choice for Gonzo and a chicken to show up as opposed to
anybody else, really.
Yeah, Raz. But it just feels like it's trying to be the bigger award shows when it was doing better when it was sticking to, we're the little guy, we're the underdog.
Yeah.
Here's just some fun stuff that's coming out.
I think the best time to be alive for video game awards was when Spike TV still existed. Because after every award, we got a trailer for a brand new video game. And I didn't even realize the gaming awards had taken place because I'm so used to, all right, here it is. And then every pop culture site's like, here's a list of all the trailers from the video game awards. Here's this and here's that. And I saw a teaser for Blade.
That was one of them.
And
Arcane.
A handful of other games, and I'm just going, okay, this is no different than the trailers they would have released 2 weeks ago. Anyway, so hands down, Alan Wake 2 is a definite recommendation for pretty much anyone out there.
Oh yeah, and it's built so you don't have to have played the first one,
right?
To play and appreciate this game as well.
Okay, cool. Is there any game that you feel, though, that got an award that really shouldn't have even been on that list?
That's really hard. Honestly, I think that the amount of work and effort that goes into games should always be recognized.
Right.
So I don't have any qualms there.
Well, the only thing I can say is that the reason Mortal Kombat 1 didn't win anything is because you don't put out an unfinished game. Anyway, we will get into more IGN news when we come back. This is Geek Tank Radio.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. May the odds be never in their favor. The Geek Patrol is back.
Oh, come on, guys. You know the odds are always in our favor, or else we wouldn't have been doing this for almost 8 years.
How about the evens? Are they ever in your favor?
No, actually, they do work against us. We are the opposite of Star Trek movies. Anyways, guys, welcome back to Geek Tank Radio. I am Brandon Olmstead, here with my buddies Allan Gilbreth and Max Behind the Glass, and our special guest, Scott J. Carroll. See, I can do it better at the top of the hour or at the bottom of the hour, whenever the halfway point is.
Take another shot. You're getting better. It's like Johnny Fever.
Well, I mean, this is what happens when you spend too much time outside of somebody's recovery room. Anyway.
You shouldn't sniff those gases, really.
There's no other reason to be at a hospital.
That's true.
Anyways, guys, I teased it in the first half of the hour with more IGN news. IGN has named the most watched movie of 2023. And, Allan, I'm going to go ahead and let you run with this because I'm still a little shocked at what it was.
Well, you got the Rotten Tomato rankings, and everybody's all up in, this movie, that movie. And then you look at how many hours something has booked.
Right.
And then you look at it and you go, which movie is this again? And then you read it again. And then you read it again and you go, wait a minute. Mother by J-Lo? Wait a minute. Mother with J-Lo.
Is that a new scent?
It sounds like it.
You do. And then you look at the fact that, not, and this was the number that got me. It was like millions of hours of view time. And I mean, not 1 million, not 2 million, but what was it?
Oh, it was astronomical.
Crazy,
you looked at it and you're like, how did this happen with a movie that I barely heard about? It is a really fun. I don't know if fun's the right word because it's kind of dark.
Yeah, it is a little
All right,
dark.
so the movie is The Mother. It was on Netflix. It stars Jennifer Lopez as the mother. She's an assassin who gave up her child, in life because you don't bring a child into this kind of thing.
Right.
Well, she has to go off books in order to protect the daughter she left behind, and it's your typical, almost those late 90s style espionage spy thriller
like
movies.
Eraser level.
Right.
Okay.
Right. It's like it's dumb as far as the logic goes, but it's the long kiss goodnight. You get sucked into it and you do not want to stop watching it. And I can see where once somebody sees it, they go, "Hey, you need to check out this movie," and then those hours are going to go through the roof. But you bringing up the fact that they have given us how many hours The Mother was watched actually made me stop for a second. Netflix, for the first time in its history, actually released the first half of the 2023 numbers across the board. All the different shows and everything else. And this is something, I don't know if it's coming out because, now with the strikes being settled and the new contracts, if Netflix and the other streamers are going to have to come off these hours in order to set up these new residual, promises. And we're finally going to see why, shows we may have loved. It's like, why did this only get 2 seasons? This was amazing. Why didn't they wrap this up? We may finally understand the algorithm behind why Netflix, throws something out, or David Zaslav feels this will be better on the shelf if we could take the tax break. Yeah.
Well, all right. Let's look at something like Enola Holmes.
Right.
All right,
Okay.
Enola Holmes. Not any. Does that just leap to your head when I say name me one of the best movies made?
Well, to me, yes, because I've seen both of them.
Right.
But it's something
based off
you
the
saw.
books, though.
It's 2020.
It's something you
2020.
saw on accident, really, because it's Millie Bobby Brown and Henry Cavill.
Okay,
you're gonna watch it.
Yeah.
It's Henry. You're gonna
11 and Superman.
There's a hook
Okay.
there. Okay, But would you watch it for 189,900,000 hours?
Somebody will.
Hang
I
on.
mean,
We
hey,
need- we
remember,
need some.
Titanic stayed number one at the box office for how long?
But I'm just throwing in, these are crazy numbers.
Oh, yeah. Because, I mean, and that's the other thing is Netflix is not going to do its rating system, which is the hours, based on just one region. This is worldwide.
Right. So Enola Holmes, and I'm not, it's a great movie. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to pick on it, but it's not.
It's not something you
It's
expect
just not
to,
a movie that rolled off the tip of your tongue like, you know, Kung Fu Panda 4's coming out, Aquaman's coming out, Axel Foley's got another movie
Axel
coming
F.
out.
Yo.
So Enola Holmes is just kind of a movie.
Right.
You know, if you saw it on the list, maybe you'd watch it, maybe you wouldn't.
Are these stats worldwide or just U.S.?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Army of Dead 2021, 186 million hours watched.
That is wow.
Millions of hours watched. That's like when it's like the first time I found out what the most popular piece of music ever written.
Scott's got his handy dandy supercomputer in his hand. All right, Scott. Army of the Dead is roughly 2.5 hours long.
Mm-hmm.
How many? If each person viewed it once at that length, how many hours? How many people watch that?
The current population of the U.S. is just over 339 million people.
Right.
And what I was looking up right now is 1 million hours is equivalent to 114 years.
Wow.
That is a century. A century of Enola Holmes.
Imagine the box office if those hours equated to theater going. And now you understand why Netflix is in charge.
It's very plain why people in the performance arts, I look at the four of us, we're very concerned about playtime and play hours because, well, Geek Tank Radio is a full podcast.
Yep.
You can go to geektankradio.com. You can follow us on Netflix. You can follow us on Spotify. I'm sorry, not
YouTube.
on Netflix.
YouTube.
Man, I'm getting all excited.
like,
Netflix. We're on
like,
Netflix.
whoa, what
we're
do we
not on
not know?
Netflix.
It's like, I'll
yet.
do a Netflix show.
Oh, we
Anyways,
so would. But these are
Speaking-
just amazing numbers.
Yeah. And speaking of Netflix shows, when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about Beverly Hills Cop 4.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. Targ burgers are now on the menu. The Geek Patrol is back.
Alan, exactly what goes into producing one of those?
Into producing what?
The Targ burger.
Huh?
Yeah, Yeah, he doesn't want to talk about cooking now all of a sudden. Any other time I can get him to say it, but he doesn't want to give up his recipe.
I think that's actually why Joe's in the recovery room is food poisoning.
That could be it too.
Well, that and the fact he's been trying to hold his insides in for 4 years might be
Longer.
might
but
have
yeah.
something to do with that.
Insides belong on the inside.
Yeah.
Well, his insides were trying to go visit other parts of his insides.
Oh, okay, guys. Before we get too graphic, welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, guys. The show has flown by. Scott, it's always great to have you in.
Always fun to be here.
Before we get into talking about Axel F., is there anything you'd like to promote that you've been involved in recently?
Recently, those of us over at Dark Oak, we are currently doing, it is Christmas.
Right.
So we are doing an Advent Calendar tea challenge. Every day there's a video going up. We got this calendar that has these different teas in them that have the dumbest names in the world applied to them. So we have to drink the tea and then guess what the name is based off of what it tastes like.
And how close have any of you gotten?
It's a train wreck.
Yeah. But the best kind to watch.
But I can trigger him instantly with 2 words.
Don't you say it.
Peachy Keen.
Okay.
There was no peach in the Peachy Keen. You can't call it peachy if... Okay, we don't have time for this.
All right. Guys, head on over to Dark Oak Media on YouTube, the website, wherever, and check out the Advent Calendar Tea Challenge.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be worth it. Scott doesn't put out bad material. I can't say the same for us, but or even for Netflix. Even though we've just talked about how amazing Netflix has taken over our lives, we want to touch base on a little bit of Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. this trailer dropped.
Mhm.
I immediately sent it to my wife, and she didn't want to watch it because she felt that, some young guy is taking over the role, and
Nope.
it's a reboot. And then when she saw Eddie Murphy, she was
No,
like,
it's-
all right, we're going to have to go see this. I was like, it's great because it's going to be on Netflix.
Part 2. It's part 2.
Yeah. Well,
40
yeah.
years later. Seriously. Axel F was like what? 80s?
Yeah.
I think Beverly Hills Cop 3 was that 90?
That was
Or 92?
that was right when Eddie Murphy was getting into the more family-friendly fare.
Yeah, 'cause
which is why they based the whole thing at a Disney ripoff park.
Mm-hmm.
But this seems to be more in line with the with what would have been the direct sequel to 2.
Yeah.
So I mean, we've got Eddie Murphy back. We got Judge Reinhold. We got John Ashton. We've got Paul Reiser. We got Bronson Pinchot. And
Ronnie Cox.
yeah, and we
Ronnie? Where did you guys find him? He hasn't, I was shocked.
We've got a couple of new faces in the franchise. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is playing his new younger partner that he gets teamed up with when he makes it to Beverly Hills. I think Billy and Taggart are officially retired from active police work,
But they're there.
but they're there. So you're not gonna feel cheesed out or ripped off. But it led to a discussion outside of the show. How much time are you still going to forgive someone for coming back to a franchise?
Okay. I don't think it's so much about time as it is time appropriate story.
Okay.
I am totally down with not doing the cash grab if you actually have a story that's appropriate.
Right.
I'll pick on Indiana Jones.
Yep.
Sean Connery. Sean Connery made movies. They basically could lean Sean Connery up against a wall and let him read teleprompter phone book messages.
Oh,
and
we're going
you'd
to talk about
watch.
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
I was going to say, you saw The Rock.
Yeah, any number.
There's a lot of them.
But
Entrapment.
Just pick your person, and certain people have got that chemistry no matter what their age is. So we just did an Indiana Jones.
Right.
And it was kind of like we really need to wrap this up. It was kind of a really, we kind of have a story of prequels, sequels, extenuations, because Lord knows we've been overwrought by expanding universes.
Yes.
So, all right, so here we got Axel F. It's a closed loop story. The universe is not at stake.
Thank God.
It is the wacky antics of
A rogue cop who doesn't obey the rules, but dang it, he gets the job done.
This on Fresh Tomatoes is what, a 10? Well, there's nothing new here, but do you have some chemistry? Yeah. Is Judge and John going to be these affable characters that they were before? They still got it. Hey, if you still got it, let's do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But how much are we banking on story versus nostalgia?
Well, I think you're going to more than likely get a really good mix on this one.
Mm-hmm.
They've been trying to do a Beverly Hills Cop soft reboot for years. There was talk of a TV show that was going to Axel was going to be in it, but it was going to deal more with his son being. We know that his daughter is involved in this movie, but we don't know to what extent just yet.
Taylor Page is playing a character named Axel.
Yeah.
Let's just say.
Yeah, his kid, of course.
Yeah.
But I think in a situation like this, it really is one of those that we're willing to forgive, not just because of the fact that we're nostalgic for it, but it is one of those situations where it's not oh my God, the world is ending. Let's do this. People are looking for something that's a little more fun and just laid back.
The stakes are small.
Right.
You said it right there. I don't want to have to bring my 40 years of comic books with me to try to figure this movie out. Mm-hmm. This is, if you've never seen one before, it should have enough movie there to carry it.
Yeah.
If you've seen them before, you should pay homage enough to meet the nostalgia quotient.
And then
it leaves you about 30 minutes of actual fresh movie.
Right. and that's one of the things that I'm hoping for. I want this to be a good mix of everything because too often nowadays it's just like as much as I enjoyed Dial of Destiny once I finally watched it, it seemed like it was like, hey, look, this is that thing Indy did before. Mm-hmm. Hey, look, Nazis. Anyways, guys, I'm excited about Axel F.
I'm looking forward to it.
We're all going to see it, and we'll give you a review. But guys, the show is gone again.
Really?
Yeah,
wow.
It's over. On behalf of our ailing friend at home, this has been Geek Tank Radio. I am Brandon Olmstead.
I am Scott J. Carroll.
I'm Alan Gilbreth.
I'm Maximilian.
And I've got a new appreciation for all the crap Joe puts up with every week.